Now, if we collect all what we have said before, we will summarize the enamel bonding procedure as the following. We apply the acid etchant so that we will condition the tooth surface and remove the debris from it. Then we will apply the bonding agent on it. The bonding agent or bonding resin or adhesive, as we call it simply, will penetrate the enamel and make some things that we called as resin tags, and will be locked to the enamel surface by micromechanical locks, not chemical locks. On the other hand, the dentin bonding procedure is the same as the enamel bonding procedure, but because of the dentin is hydrophilic, so that it will be more difficult for the hydrophobic bonding resin to penetrate it and go inside it, so that we will use an additional material that will condition the dentin surface and act as a coupling agent between it and the bonding resin, which is called as a primer. So that the primer is applied to the dentin surface and penetrates into the dentinal tubules and the decalcified dentin, after of course the application of the acid etchant, as we have said before, in the enamel adhesion procedure. And then this primer will act as a coupling agent by stabilizing collagen and allowing the penetration of bonding resin that will be put above it. This layer of dentin into which resin has penetrated is called the hybrid layer. Excessive etching results in a layer of decalcified dentin below the hybrid layer, which weakens the resin bonding. Also, excessively drying dentin results in a de-desiccated surface collagen layer. This collapses and reduces the fusion of the primer, so that always try to minimize the desiccation or drying of the dentin, and always try to decrease the amount of the acid etching procedure for the dentin. Or to simplify everything, you should always follow the manufacturer instructions on how to use that dentin bonding agent or enamel bonding agent. Guys, you should always read the leaflets that come with the composites, amalgams, glass ionomers, any instrument or material that you bring to your clinic. You should read the leaflet so that you will be in the safe side regarding the best use of the material from your side, and the best efficacy of the material for the patient's benefit. These are the resin tags that we have talked about, and that were made by the facilitation procedure, by the acid etching procedure that we have made, and the primer that we have put on the dentin, so that the bonding resin will penetrate the tooth structure and make resin tags, so that it will be secured to the tooth structure by a micromechanical mechanism, not chemical mechanism. And afterwards the composite resin will be easily attached to the bonding resin chemically and forever. From what we have said before, it is obvious now that the components of the bonding system must have three basic components. But they may show different pictures regarding the manufacturer, regarding the generation. They differ from generation to generation, from manufacturer to manufacturer, but in general they are three. They are the etchant, primer, and adhesive. The etchant is a phosphoric acid. In general, we use the 37% phosphoric acid. It may be a liquid or a gel, and it may be a total etch, or the phosphoric acid is only by itself, and in this case we put it in an etch and rinse technique. We put it for 15 seconds in general, and then we rinse it for 15 seconds with water, and then we dry it with 15 seconds by air. Also, it has another picture, which is the self-etch. The self-etch is a bonding system that utilizes the acidic primers and adhesives, eliminating the separate etching step with phosphoric acid. This modifies but does not remove the smear layer. The second component, which is the primer penetrates into both dentinal tubules and decalcified dentin and acts as a coupling agent by stabilizing the collagen and allowing the penetration of bonding resins. Examples are 2-hydroxyethyl methacrylate, or as we call it 2-HEMA, or 4-methacrylyl trimethylate anhydride, which is the 4-meta. I don't want you to keep the long name or the chemical structure of these two terms, but because they show up in the exam, pretty much in any exam, so that you should know them. The 2-HEMA and 4-meta, keep them as blood metaplasia. HEMA, blood, and metaplasia. So the blood metaplasia is a disease that is present in the primer and are the components of the primer. The last thing is the adhesive, which is an unfilled resin. Examples on it are the bisphenol A glycosidyl methacrylate, or bis-GMA, or the urethane dimethacrylate UDMA monomers. These monomers or unfilled resins will act as the adhesive or the bonding resin or the bonding agent that we have talked about before. And as we said, you should not know that there is bis-GMA1, bis-GMA2, and bis-GMA that have two aromatic groups, or the UDMA that have two amine groups. But the most important thing is to know is that the adhesives are mostly bis-GMA or UDMA because they show up in the exam. Thank you for improving yourself by listening to this presentation. Always try to know, spread knowledge, and construct the world. Be kind to one another, and that is for the greatest benefit to the humankind.